Hello and welcome to episode 1358 of The Sleeper and the Bust. It is Monday, December 23rd. I'm your host, Paul Sporer, joined this afternoon by Justin Mason. Justin, good morning to you, but good afternoon to me. We are in the crossover zone.
Only for like 15 more minutes, right? It's
Yes,
just,
yes.
just a little bit of time. So
But I got it right. I'm just proud I got it right in the crossover zone.
It is Festivus, which means our annual airing of grievances episode.
I got a lot of problems with you people, and you're about to hear them.
Shout out to Jenny Butler, who wished us happy Festivus this morning.
It's so good. We did at OTP, we did a little Festivus mission where you lock some cards and you get a Paul O'Neill, Danny Tartable, Keith Hernandez, and Jay Buehner. 3 players who are on Seinfeld, and then another who is featured, his name dropped in the famous Festivus episode when Frank says, and I quote, "What the hell did you trade Jay Buehner for?" And then he starts rattling off his number. He had 30 homers, 100 RBIs. He's got a rocket for an arm. You don't know what the hell you're doing. I cannot think of Jay Buehner and not think of that. It is simply impossible. So, as I lament, and Jenny lamented with us, the lessening impact of Seinfeld references in the culture, I still cling to the ones that hit hard, like Festivus.
Yeah, Festivus is, that's a show I should probably go back and rewatch. Like, it's
a lot of it still holds up. I'm obviously not going to say all of it. You're still talking 90s, but I mean, even like some of the things that you might initially think, if homophobia is rampant or misogyny, like there's things like that have definitely advanced in recent years. Obviously, they had the not that there's anything wrong with that. So one of their more classic things was trying not to be homophobic, like, saying like, just because you don't want to be associated with it doesn't mean he was saying it was bad. That was like the whole crux of the episode. So yeah, I mean, I catch episodes here and there and it still cracks me up. I mean, how much of it is nostalgia and my undying love for the show versus it still being truly gut busting? I can't say for sure.
Yeah. I should definitely go and rewatch. I like to go back, especially during like this time of year when I'm really focused on
this is the best time.
Like, I don't actually have to watch it. I can just put it on in the background and then poke my head up. I'm currently doing a rewatch of Dexter, so that way I can...
Oh, for the new show?
Yeah, for the news to kind of be re-prepped. Even though I've seen Dexter probably, I don't know, 5-6 times all the way through. So
I'm on my like 900th spin of the ABC sitcom Happy Endings.
Oh, that's such a great show.
It's just
that's one of those shows that like just didn't get enough run. Like it ended way too soon.
They got the podcast treatment though, where Max and Penny from the show host. I just found it because of this rewatch. So, we're gonna learn some more about it. That's gonna be fun. I love that show though, and that's another one. Don't have to watch. So as I'm writing SP profiles, I know what's happening. It'll take my attention for a minute or two, but I can definitely enjoy it by just listening.
It's usually The West Wing for me, which also has a fantastic podcast.
That makes sense. Yeah,
that goes along with it with Joshua Molina as one of the co-hosts. But
that's really cool.
It's fantastic actually. Yeah. What are your favorite shows? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know. It is the time though when I also like to put on vintage baseball, but I don't need pure baseball in the winter, so I'm fine to finally dive into some shows and some movies. And you might say, well, we'll use that time to watch some new stuff, but then I won't do my work. This is second problem. Screen stuff that
I keep putting off The Bear because I really want to watch it, but like I can't actually do work. And
no, there's no way.
Last night I spent 2 hours doing projections. I knocked out another 40 players. But I had to have, something on in the background that wasn't going to actually make me turn and look at it.
Yeah. That you want to pay attention to the whole time and everything. So yeah, that's why it has to be second screen shows that are my comfort shows. And, Community gets a spin a year for sure. So does Happy Endings. So anyway, I think we had said we do at least an episode this week. We weren't sure if it'd be Monday or something else, but the hot stove, even with you and Jason going yesterday, the hot stove, she is a crackling. And so we figure, let's get it done today. We'll push catchers a bit to either the end of the week or early next week. We're still touch and go on that late week episode, but a nice little six pack of moves here that are right in line with, what we generally hone in on, which is the deeper leagues, right? We talk throughout the entire player pool, but we like that 15 team league, those only leagues where a lot of these moves are going to have their most impact. So let's dive in. And I like the way this piggybacks off of y'all's last talk yesterday, which was my boy Patrick Sandoval going to Boston. And obviously we know he's basically going to rehab with them this year and then next year. So in between that, they got the 1-year pillow deal of Walker Buehler, which is a move I like and I respect, but I'm only mad because my Tigers didn't do it. You guys know I wanted my Tigers to do it. They basically signed him for the qualifying offer, the exact 21 mil. I think it's perfect. That's exactly, I was thinking 1 in 20. All of that checks out to me. Smart move by the Red Sox. I like what they've got going on out there. I think they're putting some things together. I'm in on Buehler with the Red Sox. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I didn't think of this as a landing spot for Buehler. I really did think he would end up on a team like Detroit, that's kind of a little bit younger and needing a little bit veteran leadership in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But this may actually be the best possible landing spot, not from a park perspective, obviously, but from just an organizational philosophy. It's going to be a pretty good team. We expect the Red Sox to be competitive. And Andrew Bailey, man, I love Andrew Bailey. I was
Yes,
talking about in my
exactly.
chat today. Like, he is my favorite pitching coach in all of baseball. So you get kind of this guy who's been a stud in the past, pitched like a stud in the postseason, and is another year now removed from Tommy John surgery, and you put him with the best, pitching coach in all of baseball, and all of a sudden, man, I really like Walker Buehler, and the price is not prohibitive at all. I think this is a really good buying opportunity, even if it goes up 30, 40 picks. Like,
Where's Buehler at right about now?
I think he was at like 227 or something like that, but I will double check as I speak, because I obviously closed my sheet for no apparent reason that has all my
Because you wouldn't need that on the podcast.
Yeah, no. I was like, let me close out of my tabs. Okay, so Walker Buehler is currently going at pick 266,
Okay.
267 in Draft Champions. Like,
I'll
even
pay
if that jumps 40 picks, 30, 40 picks, like, that puts him up with, Jackson Jobe and Cutter Crawford and
Oh,
Nick
yeah, I got no problem with
Lodolo.
that.
Like, I'm
None.
taking him over all those guys. Like, even if he jumps up, 40 picks, we're talking Ronel Blanco, Spencer Arrighetti, Yu Darvish.
Who's at two?
Like,
Excuse me. Who's at 200?
At 200, we have guys like Bowden Francis. We have Nathan Eovaldi, Mackenzie Gore, Brandon
I think
Woodruff.
Buehler can be there.
I think
Buehler
that
can
is
be,
kind of the perfect spot for Buehler, and I don't think he's going to jump up quite that high.
that'd be 4 rounds. But if he does, I'm still in. So yeah, I'm fully in the tank for him. I fully understand all the issues of this year. I get it. I saw enough glimpses down the stretch there, and I know it wasn't a ton. It basically boils down to about a game and a half, a game plus, if you will, but in the playoffs. But I saw that he can still flash who we want him to be. Like you said, he's going to a good situation with Boston. And if he's healthy, I think he's going to be good again. I never believed that I don't believe Bobby Miller's cooked, right? As bad as he was this year. I'm going to be back in. I'm just going to stay bought in on these guys that pitch fewer than, 75 and under innings. That just doesn't move me off these guys that I've liked a long time, unless they had injury issues or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the opportunity cost is there. But we're talking about a guy in Walker Buehler who has been a top 15 starting pitcher in fantasy. Like, okay, give me a guy who has the potential to be a number one that I'm getting as my number 5 or 6. Like, I'm okay with that. It's fine.
Yeah, so we're fully in on this move. He goes to the AL East. That is tough. I don't care when Buehler's on. Does not matter. Let's talk Sean Manaea. He is back to the Mets. They're, very serious about this offseason. Not surprising to see this. I think we're probably going to see another re-signing in their future with Pete. I don't necessarily like that, but not for next year. I don't really have a problem next year. It's just if they
why don't you like it?
Just put Vientos and Beatty out there. I just don't think signing 30-year-old first baseman is a good idea.
I mean, as long as it's not like a 6 or 7 year deal, I think. I mean, one of the things I think I said yesterday on the pod, but I think I think Alonso gets the Bellinger type deal where it's like a 3 or 4 year deal with opt outs every year to kind of reestablish his value.
Yeah, one of my buddies was saying the same thing about an opt out, like being in there right away. Um, yeah, I mean, if they're not like, I don't know, it's just dangerous. It's just dangerous with a 30-year-old first baseman to do anything
But
more than like a year-to-year situation.
I mean, is it really though with the Mets? Like they clearly
Well,
have
I
unlimited
understand
money.
that.
Like
I get
it's
it. I get it.
like it would be
So they can
dangerous.
just
It would be
erase
dangerous.
mistakes.
Yeah, like they're. I mean, all these teams have like play money, but like like if
They
you're
are on
playing
another level.
if you're playing Monopoly, Jeff Cohen has like he's the banker, like, and he's just
definitely not Jeff. Steve.
oh
I couldn't think of it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Steve Cohen, like he's the banker, and he is just like taking 500.
No, and that is
like,
true. He is cheating. No, but he is on another level, right? We do always talk about how everyone's rich. Don't listen to the fact that they can't buy this player, that player, right? But we do have to acknowledge that they are on a different level. They are playing a different game than even their New York counterparts, the Yankees.
Yeah.
Simply because Steinbrenner won't spend. I'm not saying the Steinbrenners don't have the money, but they don't spend like George. So, no, that is worth noting. So with Manaea here, back to the Mets, I do like that, right? We know he gets comfortable and works there. My big reservation with him has been something that our boy Nick Pollock talks a lot about and really keyed me in on at Arizona Fall League about how much of a groove he was in and how, while that can definitely be a game-to-game thing in a season, can it carry over? Can you find that same groove? Can you find that same sort of arm angle that's working? Or will he have to kind of go through some turmoil again and then refigure it out within the season? I don't know. But the simple fact is, he wasn't that different than he was in 23, but we've talked about a lot how he hated the role in San Francisco.
Yep.
So the numbers improve, a whole run in his ERA. What do we see next from Manaea? He'll be 33, coming off his best year. Yeah, I would say his best year ever.
Yeah.
And do we think that there's more here? Do you trust him as like an SP3?
I would trust him
Maybe
more.
4.
Yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
4.
Currently going at pick 176.
Yeah, that's
right
a 4.
Right above that tier. I trust him more in a shallow league than I do in a deeper league. So for those of you who do play 15s, I'm a little bit more scared to plug him in as like as an SP4 just because of his injury history. So that is the more difficult part, and like just unevenness in terms of performance. No, I disagree with Nick in some respects, just because I think Manaea's mechanics are really, really good and typically very repeatable for him when he's healthy. I think the issues he's had in the past when he hasn't been able to find that arm slot is been health. It's when he's hurting that he has a problem. So I don't worry about him from a performance perspective necessarily. I'm more worried about him from a health perspective. We're talking about, a pitcher now who is, going to be 33 years old entering the season. He's had a litany of injuries throughout his career. So I prefer him in those 10s and 12s where he is towards the back end of my rotation. And if he gets hurt, he's a really easy drop.
Yeah, you can escape easily if you need
and go grab someone else. There's going to be another Sean Manaea on the wire. So in a 15, I'm a little bit more scared to pull that trigger, but I'm not saying I wouldn't. I don't think it's a bad price. I think it's actually probably perfectly priced in the market right now.
It does seem pretty fairly priced for Manaea to be at 176. I do wonder if it goes up though. We always talk about you usually see a little bounce when someone signs, and then if he starts trending closer to 160, 150,
he starts jumping over Taj Bradley and Brandon Pfaadt, all these guys we talked about in the last episode that we were together, or even moves up towards the Shane Bozes and Ryan Pepios of the world. That's when I start going, I think I'd rather take the upside on the younger arm.
I'd probably start leaning away from him more at that point.
Yeah,
I would agree with that with regards to Sean Manaea. So, we'll see how it goes with his price point. If it doesn't move too much, I can see myself getting in. But as it stands right now, I don't know that I'm gonna be diving in too much on Manaea.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Lowe was traded from Texas to Washington for lefty reliever Robert Garcia, who had a wonderful season. There has been so much first base movement though lately. I was telling
Like the
Pod,
whole week was just
yeah,
like I was
keeping him busy.
I was grateful that I don't have the first base.
You're gonna redo the whole damn thing here. It's crazy. So I was like, okay, there's a lot of movement here. One of my friends when Christian Walker signed was like, oh man, we could have had Walker Texas Ranger, which was really funny, and we could have, but he went to Houston instead, and I was like, yeah, pesky Nathaniel Lowe blocking him off, and Nathaniel Lowe gets traded like moments later, and I thought it was just so funny, like, man, if only they had waited. I wonder if Texas would have tried to sign him. No, I think they like what they're doing. They're going to go with like Jake Berger can play
Mhm.
pretty much every day first, but then Joc Pederson could. They signed Joc Pederson this morning. He
Yeah.
could play some versus righty if they want to give Berger a spell or put Berger at DH. Like they got things they can do now, so they're going to be fine there. Let's talk about Lowe in Washington. I love what Washington's putting together. I already thought they got a nice core going with Woods, Cruz, Abrams, Luis Garcia Jr., Ruiz. I kind of throw Jose Tena in there because I'm really intrigued by him.
Mhm.
But now you throw in Lowe, who's 29, solid player. Don't know that we're ever going to get back to that near 30 homer season that we saw in 2022. It was 27 homers. Hasn't been anywhere near that since then, 17 and 16, but a real solid plus hitter, 117 and 121 WRC plus totals the last 2 years. Do we see another strong campaign from Lowe out in DC?
Yeah, I mean, I think Lowe is a interesting guy. Like it's a pretty neutral ballpark switch, maybe a little bit better for Lowe, as
Mm-hmm.
far as I can tell. So I think he is who he is at this point. I think he's like a 260-ish hitter with high teens home runs and chips in a few stolen bases here and there. And uh
Great eye. 12,
yeah,
12
great. Yep.
13% walk rate the last 2 years, giving him 36%
Doesn't strike
OBPs.
out. So like, I mean, it really a lot of it Nathaniel Lowe's value will be very dependent on the order around him, right? Like
Yes.
how well does James Wood and Dylan Cruz kind of adjust to a first full season at the major leagues? Is Luis Garcia Jr. legit? Can Keiber Ruiz or Keiber Ruiz rebound a little bit? Like, what does the back half of that lineup look like? Um, he's just a very uninspiring option, but one of those guys that I think just gets undervalued. He's
Yeah. I
kind of
mean,
an
non-traditional first baseman.
accumulator. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he's very James Loney-ish in some
Yeah.
regards. Like,
That's exactly right. I wouldn't be surprised if his name is on the BREF comps. I'm actually
yeah,
going to go look because
it
that's
wouldn't surprise
exactly
me at
who
all.
he really is.
What I do love about Nathaniel Lowe is that, like, in spite of the fact that he's a really strong on base guy, on base percentage leagues, like I always seem to get him way cheaper than he should go for.
I think because the power still isn't there, and
Yeah,
so Nathaniel Lowe just stays undervalued. And you know what? I'll take advantage of that.
yeah,
I'm totally
absolutely.
fine with it. So yeah, I definitely like Nathaniel Lowe, and he's cheap too, right? Like we're not going to see. I don't think we see his price shoot up. He is
No, it's
better as like a
currently
CI.
going to pick 249. Even if it moves up a little, which I don't even know if it will.
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure that it
he's
should,
leaving a better team to go to ostensibly a little bit worse
but
offensive team.
a better
Um,
park, right? It is a better park at
it is
least.
I think
I
so.
think. But you can check my work. I think it's
I'm
better for
checking.
lefties.
I'm checking right now. Let's see.
The offenses could be close. I'm not gonna go out on a limb right yet and say that they're gonna be equal or anything, but I'm getting gassed up for that Nats young offense. Obviously, the star power is in Texas. We know what they can do, but really like what they're doing in
It
Washington.
I mean, it's literally 100 park factor for lefties.
Okay.
For power, Globe Life was actually 113. So this is actually
Okay.
a downgrade
So it is a little bit of a dip. Okay.
in terms of park. I wonder what the overall park factor is. Let's look
Yeah.
for.
What's the rest of the profile
Uh,
looking like out there?
it's the sixth best park in terms of overall park factors for lefties. And Globe Life was 10th.
So maybe more base
So
hits.
yeah, so
Just throw on some
more
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 base
runs
hits.
scored, more base hits, a lot of singles is
I'll take
what it.
that.
So yeah, so yeah. I mean, and this is a guy who he's not gonna he like we thought at one point that Nathaniel Lowe would be like a massive power hitter, or at least a guy
Well,
who could like
and then he
touch like
flashed it.
upper 20s, and he did flash it for a minute, but that's just really just not his game.
No.
He's a guy who kind of sprays the ball and doesn't look to elevate. He's got a 7.7 degree launch angle. Can still hit the ball, decently hard, but just we never saw the the numbers early on in his career kind of translate later on. So, I mean, I think again, he is who he is at this point. A pretty boring deep league option, but a guy, especially in on base percentage leagues, that I think gets a little undervalued.
Yep. Totally agree with that with Nathaniel Lowe. I don't think you'll be disappointed drafting him for the price you pay. Let's talk Robert Garcia because he is definitely intriguing here as they don't really have a locked in closer right now. They got a made up guy with two first names, Daniel Robert. That's not a player, obviously. And they have Jacob Webb, 31-year-old, journeyman. I think he had like a really good home run suppressing year. Yeah, 0.6 homers, 25% K, 11% walk. Like I'm not moved by him being the closer. I think Garcia has a chance to take this job. And even as a lefty, he had a split, but it wasn't crazy. He handled righties all right. He's got a solid changeup, fastball, changeup, slider. Is Robert Garcia's arsenal? Do you think that there's a world where he could take this job in Texas here?
I feel like Texas is going to bring back Kirby Yates.
Okay, and just go back to a stalwart veteran, and
Yeah,
then
like
keep letting and let
I
him be
get
like a fireman type.
if this is the bullpen they roll with, I would say Robert Garcia is the guy to roster.
Mm-hmm.
They already have three other lefties in the pen, including a guy who would have been perfect for congressman versus or reliever, which is Walter Pennington.
I think Daniel Robert would have been good too. The one
Yeah,
I
Daniel
named.
Robert. Yeah, that would
They
be a
got
good
some
one
good
too.
candidates.
I mean, the hard part is I'm gonna have to wait a long time before we can play this game again because both the Nationals pen and the Rangers pen are just filled with perfect names for that game. But I feel like there's no way they enter year with this as their bullpen.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I think they go get a Kirby Yates type, a Jeff Hoffman type,
Mm-hmm.
somebody who isn't going to cost them a ton of money, but can be the guy in the ninth.
Can just do the job.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Kirby Yates reunion just feels too right at this point.
yeah, I mean, because they very much see themselves still as contenders. They're operating as such. This is a very nice piece for their bullpen, but I think they do want to build a stronger bridge to whomever they give the job to. So yeah, I wouldn't be against taking Robert Garcia in draft champions because I don't think his price, well, it's going to go up. There's no doubt because people will be speculating on him being the guy, but he's at 607 right now. He could go up 200 picks. And that's not nothing in a DC.
Yeah.
Like that, your pick 400, like you are still trying to be really savvy and stay on top of things. But I'd be okay even if you move that high and somebody wanted to take a shot on Robert Garcia. Just don't get too crazy with it because I think Justin is onto something that there's a strong chance that even if they don't bring in like a older guy, like you're saying, like a Yates, they might bring in another two Robert Garcia types.
Yeah,
one
exactly.
right, one left to fully content, and just have an open tryout then. Bottom line is, I don't think their bullpen's done, which means you should not go super hard after Garcia.
Yeah, I gotta feel like I mean, there's so many guys on the market right now for relief pitchers, including like three guys that have been in this bullpen before in David Robertson, Jeff Hoffman, and Jose Leclerc.
Yep.
Like you got to think someone is going to end up in Texas.
Reunion gotta be coming, right?
Yeah, there's something coming. So
no, I'm absolutely with you on that.
Can we talk about the Washington bullpen? Because if you thought the no
Yes,
names, I don't know if you heard the episode yesterday, but Jason actually asked me like, "Hey, name some Washington National relievers," and I was able to name three.
that's
Um,
good. Because yeah, they
and
non-tendered Finnegan. Remember that was kind of weird.
yeah, and now it's down to two. Because Robert Garcia was one of the guys I could name. Um, they've got to be bringing other people in, right? Like I don't know
You
that
would
I mean,
think.
they could bring in a Kirby Yates type or a Jeff Hoffman type. They I can't imagine like someone in my chat was like today was like because that got brought up and I said like I think they've got to be bringing someone else in. They're not making some of these moves that they're making to
No, I
just
agree. They want to
sit.
be more
Um,
competitive than to go with full no-name bullpen. Now they might
but
not go bring a big name in, but they might just bring in
yeah,
like medium names to compete.
like a Jalen Beeks, like a Dylan. Oh no, Dylan Floro is available. Like they're gonna bring in somebody. I just have no idea who. Like I I am like if this is what they're rolling with in the bullpen, like I don't know that I guess Derek Law is the guy, but
If I had to go with somebody, sure. What about Jose Ferrer
he's one of
as
two
like
lefties. I mean, I guess they could with having
he
one.
just throws hard. I got
Yeah,
nothing. Like he has a nasty slider and he throws 98.
yeah,
So I think if
I
I
could
was gonna
see it.
do,
I
like you
guess
said, he is a lefty though, and there's lefty bias. At least they have another one. If if they did give him the closer's role, they would have another one to turn to. So that's probably where I would go if I was
they
going to
got to bring
speculate.
they got to bring someone else in.
Totally
Like,
agree.
yeah,
Again, even if it's not a true closer, they got to bring in a veteran who's going to compete, even
maybe
if
they
it's
get
just
Kirby Yates and the Rangers go and get Finnegan.
Finnegan. Yeah, I was going to say even if it's just Finnegan back on a cheaper deal, right? Maybe
Yeah,
maybe they're just working with him behind the scenes and they're just going to bring him back. They have to at least do that though. So yeah, don't go too crazy on this Washington pen. I'd go harder for Garcia than I would for anybody in the
it seems
Washington
crazy to
pen.
me that they non-tendered Finnegan.
I was surprised. I was surprised by
He
that
only
too.
made 5 million last year, and
Maybe they
like
think he's worth three and they're trying to squeeze every nickel. Yeah, I mean,
he's gonna get five from someone, right?
you
Or at
would
least
think
seven
maybe
from
they're just
someone.
like we don't pay any reliever, right? Like maybe they just don't want to pay any reliever over X amount.
I
I don't
guess.
know. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just trying to
So, I mean,
speculate
someone in
on
my chat did like mention like, hey, like for a team that's starting or trying to start to compete, like relievers like the last thing you worry about because like
exactly. And
like
I do get
you
that.
pull things out of a hat every year with relievers. Like
Including
um,
Robert Garcia, who
yeah, exactly.
you look at his skills
So
last year, it's like, whoa, where'd that come from? So I do like this trade. I think it could end up being a win-win. Let's stay in Texas. Joc Pederson signed right after
yeah,
this move, not to play first base because again, this moves Berger over to first on probably a close to everyday basis. But Joc's going to be the DH versus righties. Is he just going to keep being Joc? Do you think
yeah,
get hot for a couple periods of 3 weeks at a time? And then just work his way toward 20 something homers, 60 to 70 ribs, and a decent batting average.
yeah. Like 265, 20 homers, and hanging
That
out,
sounds about right.
eating, sunflower seeds when they're up against lefties. So
That's
like
right.
I mean, I think it's exactly what's about to happen. I think Berger is going to play every day. I mean, for me, this is a bigger deal in terms, or at least the Nathaniel Lowe signing, and I think the Joc Pederson signing too is just a bigger deal in terms of Josh Young's health. If they were worried
Right.
about Josh Young and his reoccurring injury issues, then I don't know that they make these deals, right? They bring in more depth. There's someone who can play third base more regularly, or don't trade allow or Low, so that way Berger can play third if they need it. But yeah, this makes me feel better about Young. I think this is a great fit for Joc Pederson. Uh, you know, so like yeah, I think this is a good
Yeah,
little fit.
I like this a lot. Makes tons of sense. And he'll continue to have value in spots where you can, like NFBC, where you can bench guys in the middle of the week because he's
Yep.
just not going to play against lefties. You don't want any of his at bats against lefties. You would want somebody like this maybe facing lefties. And listen, I still have the thing. Maybe it's overdue to still feel this way, but I still get a little spidey sense anytime the Rays sign a washed up so-and-so.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm putting washed up in quotes because I don't know that Eloy Jimenez is washed up yet. He's still only 28. I got nothing good from last year. I can't pretend. And frankly, it's been a disappointment overall. But that disappointment is still 2,100 plate appearances of a 113 OPS plus. Is there anything left here?
I mean, I don't know. I believe, and I'm double checking right now, but I believe it's just a non-roster invite.
Okay, it's a minor league deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they're not like committing to Eloy Jimenez here, but I'm still intrigued.
And like they are going to be playing in a spring training park all year, so like putting a guy with power in that kind of park is interesting. I don't know, but I think at this point in his career, like, why not take the gamble? I mean, he's going at pick 621. He is free. Like, that is free. Like, we
Your favorite.
like, in terms of like a regular redraft league.
No, that is
draft, like, that is free. Like, he is. So yeah, like, last guy on your bench, fine, right? Like,
okay,
it's totally fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
I think I'm definitely taking him in a DC. Like,
yeah,
I'm down to take that shot for Eloy.
So like the interesting thing for me is I didn't think that they would go with a guy like Eloy, but I think they're just looking to see, hey, if he looks good in spring and is rebounding, then we got a steal that we can package at the deadline if we want.
If it doesn't work out, or we have kind of a dope DH.
Yeah. Or like it didn't cost as much in terms of signing him, so we can just dump him if we want to. So I think it's a fine kind of win-win deal. Gives Eloy another shot. He's going to be in a good park this year in St. Pete or wherever the Yankees play. I can't remember.
Yeah, and like you said, give him a shot. Like, we'll see. It might not work, but I like that they took the gamble with it. Because not only do we talk about fantasy being literally free, it's essentially free for the Rays too, to at least take this little gamble.
Absolutely.
And just see what's what. So
it is. I mean, it is pretty much free. It is about as free as you get. So
it's as free as real baseball gets with things. So that's good. Okay, so keep tabs on Eloy Jimenez. Next up, our last one here is Andrew McCutchen returning to Pittsburgh, who's kind of, at least in terms of like the expected profile, maybe. I said 113 OPS plus for Eloy over his career. That's the kind of player that McCutch is right now. He is like a 113 type guy, although he's got a lot. The way his trajectory's gone, superstar into his decline phase, but he's still a plus bat. He's kind of a righty Joc Pederson, right? To make the analogy tighter, because Eloy has had such down periods. Kutch is somebody that you want. You can still bat him against righties. He's not completely platoon the way Pederson is, but you want to set him up against lefties, and he can hold his own against some righties. Not playing too much defense, doesn't have to in the NL. Does he get another 20 and homers with like a 240 average for Andrew McCutchen?
I mean, I think he could. I don't know that I want to bank on it at his age. I will say he was actually better against righties than he was against lefties last year.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think it was mostly just bad luck against lefties, though.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess his BABIP was pretty low, 247 BABIP against left-handed pitching. So
just completely unlucky.
Yeah, just got a little bit unlucky. So like, I mean, at this point, he is projected to hit in the middle of the Pittsburgh Pirates lineup. He's projected to hit fourth, and play every day. Like, okay, perfect DC guy, or end of your bench option in a 15-team mixed league, and he is DH only in most formats. So there is the flexibility issue. But I mean, I guess I should ask you this question: who would you rather have for 2025? Would you have Eloy or McCutchen? Because I think I go McCutchen here.
Oh, I would. Yes, it's just much more
just
certainty.
The volume.
Yeah. And in the leagues that we're going to draft them right now, like DC's, give me the boring, pretty bankable numbers of Andrew McCutchen. Like, there is more upside with Eloy because if he finds health and he finds his stroke again, he's an everyday DH who can go 3,100. That's in the cards, and it's not really that far away from being in the cards, but we're not there yet. And so, I'm definitely taking Kutch.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
So there we go. Nice little Monday hot stove there that produced 6 moves just in the span of a day between you and Jason going yesterday
Yeah.
and us going here on Monday. So we got that in again. TBD on the end of the week. Kind of see how the holidays go with everything. If not, back early next week, starting with catchers as we do our catcher breakdowns and kind of get our position breakdowns and kind of get into everything. So, Justin, great talking with you. I hope you have a wonderful holiday with the family, and talk to you soon.
Take it easy.